What's going on there, guys? We back with another one, and Shannon Sharpe is in some big trouble, man. He didn't recognize the signs. I see my boy Ticket TV. He cooking on the topic. Go over there and check him out. But I'm reading these texts, and this new audio leak, which we're gonna get into. Now, we see these texts from a year ago where it was consensual. Well, I guess the 614 one was not quite a year ago, but you see the 131 2024. Is consensual, right? She's inviting Shannon. Now you look at this text, but I cried when you left because I begged you to put a Jimmy hat on and not put it, where the sun don't shine. And you didn't listen. I don't care what our history is. No means no, Shannon. Then, she says, I don't know how to process this. He puts, can I call you later? Instead of saying, what are you talking about? Or you did. He should have, okay. So basically, Shannon don't know when something seems off when he's getting texts and things like that. You dealing with a 19-year-old though, so this thing was orchestrated, but this audio is gonna make it really bad. And I wouldn't be surprised if Shannon loses a lot with how they're putting this out, because it's not about what happened, or it's not about reality, right? It's about perception, because perception is reality in the minds of a lot of people. Let's get right into this new audio that TMZ just put out. Let's peek.
Well, what, Gabby?
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you do with the shit you did to me.
Okay, well...
Well, what?
But that's not against the law because she was of age. So even though she was 19, that's not against the law.
This is a very, very messy situation. I don't know what's true and what's not true, but I have no idea why a 54-year-old man is dating a 19, 20-year-old. I know y'all like to be out here bragging about smashing these young things, but that's not a flex to me. You 54 years old, you should be laid up with your wife and kids, taking your cholesterol medicine, minding your damn business. We need discipline and stability. That's. And I ain't talking about just Shannon. I'm just talking about all of us in general. Men need discipline and stability. Find you one woman and settle your ass down, okay?
I agree with you, but it's not against the law. He can as long as the person's over a certain age, it is not against the law. So legalities, that's not against the law.
I'm with you.
It just don't feel right, but for himself, it's not against the law.
I'm with you. I'm just saying a 54-year-old man is supposed to be laid up with his wife and kids somewhere. Hell, maybe even have a couple of grandkids. I don't want to be chasing no young girls at 54.
Because what are the conversations like? What are the conversations if I'm 54?
Now it seems Shannon has fell for the ultimate trap, right? And these things, you could tell something was off if you really know, with how she was talking to him on the phone. As far as the intent behind the conversation is what I'm saying, but Shannon did not pick it up. And this is the dangers of trying to date a generation you don't necessarily understand. And he's dating, she was 19 at the time. The fact that you would lay up with a 19-year-old, and I know a lot of people came in the comment section saying, man, she legal, bro. You bugging, you tripping. Y'all got daughters. Whether it be Shannon Sharpe or any man, they roll up in there, say, this is my 54-year-old boyfriend. Even though they grown, you ain't going to immediately jump on him and y'all going to fight. Pick up the nearest thing if you small and hit him. You know, you ain't going to do nothing. Because I wish one of my kids would walk in here and say, this is my 54-year-old boyfriend. Even when they grown. Even when they grown. And if y'all see it that way, we not the same type of people. Much power to you, but I can't rock with you. You know, if you think that's okay. And that's what Charlamagne basically saying. Like, yeah, it's legal, but it gives off creepy. You know, it gives off creepy. Shannon at least need to have somebody 40 or up, man. At least. And that's, you know, to me, that's still a little age gap. You know, you kind of need somebody within your age range. Typically, you know what I'm saying? That would be ideal. That'd be optimal. But I'll say this, Shannon put himself in this situation. You know, I was a bit skeptical about Tony Busby because of the way the thing went down with Jay. Jay said she ain't getting a penny. And Jay never tried to settle with his case. But it comes out that Shannon Sharpe actually tried to settle for $10 million. Or his lawyers, you know, they were trying to settle for $10 million earlier. And the fact that she refused that and she took it on the court, most people would take 10, they'd be up out of there. You know what I'm saying? But this young lady didn't take the 10. She went on through with this, and she probably, I mean, I don't know if she's gonna get 50, but she gonna get a substantial amount. She probably get more than 10. And Shannon is gonna lose a lot with this. I don't think there's a way that Shannon skates by this one. ESPN probably will fire him any minute now because, you know, just the big black guy chokes little white woman. He's playing that race thing and he's saying, oh, they coming for a black man, but you only seem to date white women. You know, we see you with white women all the time, and so you don't get to claim that black. That's, you know, whenever it gets hot, and you said, you know, ain't no black woman keeping you happy and all that before. And I've supported Shannon at different times, you know, when people were coming against him. But this is just being an idiot, man. And this is when your life isn't in order. You don't have your affairs in order. I just talked about that big deal that he was able to go and secure. But money itself is not a blessing because it could be the tools you need to self-sabotage and send you into a deep depression, you know. And if he was to lose all his sponsors and everything that he's worked so hard to get, that's going to be tough. That'd be tough on Shannon. And, you know, he probably ain't going back into TV. Not with this. Not with the New York thing that happened. You know, then the thing leaked with the Michelle girl. And now this. I mean, Shannon, I don't know, man. This is indefensible. Just out, nose wide open, willy-nilly, just talking over the airwaves and 2025. But again, they're not thinking like that because they from the generation where you had to spin the phone. You know, you had to spin the numbers on the phone to call. So even though they know technology has increased, probably don't know, you know, what to do with a phone other than how to dial a number or something like that. But probably isn't looking at all of the functions and all of the things that you could do on the phone now. You don't have to have a phone wiretapped or nothing like you would have had to back in the day. You can just, you know, record the phone call with the phone. And Shannon just fell for all of it. Gave all the sound bites she needed to get this case going. Do I believe everything this woman's actually saying? It don't matter. That's what I'm saying. It don't matter what I believe. Because what we seeing and what we hearing is enough to substantiate her claims in public opinion and in a court, right? You know, it just is. And so, we gonna see, man. We gonna we're going to stay on top of this story, though. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.